Hey everybody, this is Heartless Spartan with another Threezero Toy Talk review. Today, I have the Threezero G.I. Joe 1/6 scale Roadblock action figure. Now, it has been a while since I've gotten to review one of these, so forgive me if I'm somewhat rusty picking things back up again. I also had an issue with some camera wobble during recording, and some of the pieces were working against me, but I'll try to cut out the unnecessary bits. At this time, I haven't yet seen any pre-orders pop up for more G.I. Joe figures such as Duke, but I still have a few more I can review in my backlog that I haven't opened yet. Let's get into the review. Alright, so let's take a look at Roadblock's box here. Some pretty cool character art on the cover. Got the Joe symbol on the side. Some nice character art on the back of our figure, like the comic book style onomatopoeia there. Got a black and white character portrait. Alright. Then, of course, our box has a Velcro cover. The nice Joe logo on the inside cover. And we get a look at our figure. Oh man. The gear looks cool. I think I'm gonna be a little bit disappointed with the vest. I was kind of expecting a fabric vest. So we'll have to take a look at that when I get it out of the box here. Let's slide that out real quick, and then I'll take all the parts out. And then we can look at each piece after that. So let me get the cover off, because there's a few layers to this. There's our first layer with all his sunglasses and goggles and that. There's our second layer with his weapons and equipment and extra hands. Of course, we have some instructions. So I'm going to take all this stuff out of the boxes, set it out, and then I'll go through everything in a moment. Alright, so let's take a look at Roadblock here. Move my lights over. There we go. Boy, he just looks like a ray of sunshine. Pretty neat head sculpt. I haven't reviewed too many figures by Threezero. Oh, his hand just slid out. That weren't like wearing masks yet. That aren't like straight up anime figures. So I'm kind of wondering about kind of comparing figures later on that have just the regular head sculpts. They're not as highly detailed as some of the ones from my other ones, but this is an animated figure. I mean, I'd say they got his likeness down pretty well. I do like that the eyes are reflective. I will say it's still a pretty good looking figure. It actually kind of makes me want them... It actually kind of makes me want them to make like Halo figures, because this kind of made me think of Sergeant Major Johnson from Halo. I think that would be kind of cool. But not a bad head sculpt. It works for the animated Joe characters. Let's see, we have 3 little ammo pouches on there. Now, all of the pouches and stuff, they're like resin cast and attached on there. One's just a little bit looser than some of the others. They don't open or anything, but these have a good look to them. I think they could have done a little bit better on the vest. Either it needed some more paint or some more detailing to make it look a little bit more fabric than rubber. It just looks a little bit too rubber to me, though. Character-wise, it does look very fitting for the character. It does have a good amount of sculpt and different color. There's a fair amount of paint on it, especially on the back. The back looks pretty good. I mean, these straps almost look kind of fabric. He's got a pretty nice t-shirt on too. At least that's fabric. I'm glad that is. Yeah, most of the rest of his outfit is fabric, except for like his equipment. His equipment is resin cast. Now let's see. Taking a look at his gloves, just black sculpted gloves. He's got these like little kind of wristbands on both hands that kind of cover up the wrist joints a little bit. His belt, if we take a look at that, has more of those pretty nicely painted resin pouches. Got some slots for grenades there. Got some more on the back. I wouldn't really recommend pulling those off. You might be able to swap those around where they go on the belt. I don't see why you would, though. Got another kind of grenade belt strapped to his leg there. He's got his kind of a somewhat malleable sculpted holster for his handgun. Got some pretty neat pads, just kind of strapped on there. I mean, he looks pretty well armored up. Well, maybe not a whole lot of armor, but still looks pretty cool. Some nice sculpts around his boots. His boots are his feet. Got some, the tread is actually like painted with like dirt and stuff. That's kind of cool. Nice little extra detail on the bottom there. Then we have a sheath for his knife strapped around his boots. Those are actual like fabric straps too. I mean, this has a pretty good look going for it. I was just somewhat disappointed by the vest. Kind of wanted a fabric vest. Now, articulation in the arms, he's not really limited by his hand keeps falling off for some reason. His outfit. So we get some pretty decent articulation. Now, he does have like the rubber arms, which I'm kind of worried about. So if these get bent too much, that's eventually going to rot and split, because it's going to squeeze and just kind of wear that down over time. Pretty good detailing on there. He's actually got like veins popping out of his arms and stuff. It looks good, but longevity-wise, it has me worried. And whoop. His wrists want to keep sliding out. Got the really ball jointed wrists. These ones seem to want to pop out very easily on this figure. Other figures, like, they're nearly impossible to get off without like breaking the peg. So I don't know. I guess sometimes in this kind of collection, it's either going to be one thing or the other. They're either going to be really hard to get on and off, or they're just going to constantly fall off. There we go. Head joint movement is pretty good. It's on that ball and swivel, I think. Can't tell how many joints are there, but we get some good movement in the torso. Leg joints, I think this is where articulation is going to be limited, just because like the thickness of his pants, which are actually a pretty good pair of pants, and then I think there's maybe something on underneath that too to kind of thicken them up a little bit. So I can't really bring his leg up any further than that. But his knees bend pretty well. And then we get very good ball joint articulation in the ankles. So you can get him somewhat posed. Kind of cool. But he's not really going to be doing squats. Alright, so I'm going to set him off to the side, and we're going to take a look at his gear. Now, I kind of wish I knew a little bit more about Roadblock so I could talk about the figure a little bit more, but unfortunately I don't. So let's actually take a look at... let's look at his sunglasses first. Comes with this pair of shades. I wouldn't try bending those too much. These are fairly fragile. The lenses are kind of nice and shiny. So if we actually kind of stick those on him. They actually stay on pretty well. I like that. Okay, cool. And we actually have a pair of goggles that will go on. Now, these kind of slide on when the helmet is on, so we'll actually take a helmet. I cannot speak today. We'll take a look at the helmet next. So I'll actually sit those down. Those goggles have some shiny lenses to them, too. So his helmet actually has a bit of paint detail to it. It's that kind of old... Ah, what did I just do? What did I just do? Huh. So I just kind of popped that out of there. Interesting. Alright, so that's kind of fragile. Be careful with that. Interesting. At least I'm able to just kind of pop it back on. I could super glue it if I have to. Alright, be careful about that. And I think I see the little slots in the helmet too where the goggles are going to slide in. Yeah, don't pull on these sides. Or at least I didn't put that much pressure on it. Okay. Yeah, we got that old-fashioned kind of olive drab military green color, but just a little bit of wash over it to make it look a little bit worn. Alright, so the instructions did say not to put it straight onto his head, but to do it at like an angle. Oh, yeah, there it is. Like popping off. Alright. Well, my side panel came off again. But he's got such a big head, how's it supposed to go on? Does that go over his ear or not? Alright. So at least I got that on there. Even though my side panel popped off, I managed to pop it back on. I've got his goggles here. Trying to get them into their slots. So I had to bring it closer to me in order to kind of press that in. And of course my side panel popped off again. He's got an interesting look once he has that on. Kind of got a Judge Dredd thing going on. I cannot stop my camera from shaking today. Alright. Next we can take a look at his boot knife. It is plastic. The end's kind of dulled, so you're not really going to poke yourself with that. Very basic design to that. Now, he does have hands that will actually hold this quite well. And his boot knife is going to go nicely right. Boy, nothing wants to cooperate with me today, does it? Okay, is there a certain way it goes in? Let's try this way. Isn't that the way I just tried putting it in? When in doubt, check the manual. Uh-huh. So like this. There we go. Roadblock's been causing me nothing but roadblocks this video. There. Alright. He also comes with camera's going to focus on him in the background. Alright. Nice little handgun. Can pull the slide back. We can get a little glimpse at a bullet in the chamber in there, but it doesn't go back any further. But the magazine does slide out. Got a little bullet there too. Well, that's the bullet that we see on the inside. Alright. And it's got a couple of weapon hands that are designed the same. It'll actually fit nicely into that hand. And that's not going to slide out. And it seems like the magazine's actually going to stay in this one too, which is good. I think it was Snake Eyes. His magazine kept falling out of his handgun constantly. Put that into his holster. Alright. Then we get 4 little hand grenades. Now these are just sculpted, like the pins, and that the pin and lever does not come undone or flip out. They're not made of metal. But we get, what, 4 of these? I think we get an extra one. So these will hook onto his belt. Then we get 7 smoke grenades. Again, the levers are non-functional. They're just sculpted on. These are made of plastic. Now, there's a whole bunch of slots for these. Now, on his vest, they go along here, but they slide into little slots kind of drilled into the side of his vest. So this might be a little bit difficult to do. Oop. It's going to be hard to do on camera. Oh, there we go. All without smacking my camera. 1. I really don't want to break these. I don't think they gave us an extra smoke grenade. They gave us an extra frag, but not an extra smoke grenade. Just used a tool to kind of widen that hole just a little bit. Okay, that one I had to put on off camera. Had to bring it a little bit closer to me. That one went on nice and easy. Then we have slots on this belt down here. And one more. There we go. Looking pretty cool. Honestly, I think I might like him a little bit more with the regular sunglasses than the goggles. So I might swap that out and display him with sunglasses instead of those goggles. Like, just when I display him. Alright. Let's actually take a look at his pack next. So this kind of reminds me of like the old stuff we used to get with like the older G.I. Joe figures and like the core figures, like the old 12-inch toys that we used to get. At least that I used to get when I was younger. Except this has a bit more paint detail to it, so this actually looks pretty cool. I like this. This looks like cloth. Even though it's not, it's like that resin plastic, but it's painted very well. Looks like he's taking a lot of gear with him. So this actually looks pretty cool. And I'll put this on. It's kind of, he has these little slots in the back there. There's little holes just above here. So these metal parts will slide hopefully very easily into there. It's very awkward doing this on camera. Alright, there we go. There we go. And then he's got two on the sides that go around to the front here. There we go. And the back ones came off. Alright. Hopefully once I get those on there, they'll stay. There we are. Okay. That actually stays on there fairly nicely now. Dude looks cool. Roll that sleeve back up. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at his 50 cal. I'm going to have to set him off to the side. So this looks pretty cool. Not exactly sure how accurate they're going for here. Looks just a little bit less realistic than I would think it is. But I don't think they're too far off. So just be careful with this a little bit. Because it is kind of hard to pry up. But that will allow you to set our bullet chain, which is just kind of like a malleable rubber or like a plastic. There is a little slot in there to set one of the bullets on. Then we clasp that shut, and that'll stay in there. We got like a side lever. I have no idea what all this stuff does on there. Probably for adjusting the weapon in some way. And we do have the front handle here so he can carry it. We have this bottom peg here that will go, well, okay. I didn't break it. It just pops off the bottom very easily. So that will go into the stand for it. But we do have this piece here that actually does just kind of pop right out for when he's carrying it. And we can slide this piece in for when it's deployed. Oop. How does that go in? Like that. Yeah. Okay. So then we can take a look at this. Now this will slide down like that. We have our tripod here. Does this slide out at all? I don't think this end slides out. This is a swivel. These will slide out. Alright, well, that can happen. And can pop that onto there. Put that end into there. And we have our 50 cal deployed. At least I think it's a 50 cal. Kind of looks like one, but these look kind of smallish. Yeah. Don't take my word for that one. Pretty cool though. I like it. All right, let me set that down for now. And we'll take a look at his remaining accessories. We have a couple of closed fists. A couple of semi-open fists. Good for holding that knife. And a couple of weapon hands, so he can hold his weapons to fire from either hand. And then, which I always appreciate, I think every 6-scale company should do this, include extra wrist pegs. So he comes with 4 extra wrist pegs in case we end up breaking one. Alright. So I do think this is a pretty cool figure. It just gave me a little bit of trouble. But now we can go ahead and move into the montage and check out how he looks kind of dressed up a little bit differently. Roadblock is a pretty cool looking figure. Some of his gear reminds me of the 12-inch figures I had when I was younger. Something right out of the box, though, that bothered me was that his vest isn't fabric. It's a sculpted rubber with some paint that ended up looking too rubbery. It gets the animated character look down, but I felt it was out of place a bit. The weapons and equipment still look pretty cool and make for a pretty awesome looking figure when I get him geared up and posed. I eventually figured out that the fourth grenade also attaches to the vest, and that the side panel on the helmet is supposed to come off to put it on his head properly. The helmet did end up looking cool as well. One of the things that bothers me about these figures are the rubber arms. While it gives it a seamless look, it's going to wear eventually. So I think I'd rather have regular jointed arms with maybe some elbow pads. There's always a way to hide joints. Even though many of the parts were fighting against me, it's par for the course for these types of figures. In the end, I got everything equipped and I'm satisfied with the way Roadblock looked all put together. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate those who have. It's going to take me a bit to get back into the swing of things again. Leave a comment. What other lines do you think Threezero might do a pretty good job at making? I think it would be cool to see some Halo figures come from Threezero, some Spartans and Marines. I don't know how well they do with the aliens, though. I haven't really seen them make anything non-human. This has been Heartless Spartan. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.